Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, how can I know? I can only look at myself, and I can look in the mirror and look at myself and say, you haven't changed a bit, but that'd be stupid. That'd be lying, you know. I mean, but what it is that changes you, age changes you, you know. And if you're getting older and you're getting richer and you're getting more successful, how can you apportion what is doing the change and what the change exactly is? I don't know.
Between a second scene that fights between the blue you once knew. Floating down, the sound resounds around the icy waters underground. Jupiter and Saturn over on Miranda and Titania. Neptune, Titan, stars can frighten.
En 1965, 3 étudiants en architecture, Roger Waters, Nick Mason et Rick White, rencontrent Syd Barrett, étudiant aux Beaux-Arts. C'est lui qui donne au groupe son nom et son style. Très vite, ils deviennent des stars de la musique londonienne. Des grands comme John Lennon viennent les écouter. Pour Syd Barrett, ce commencement de la gloire est le commencement de la fin.
Syd Barrett suffers from mental illness. You know, he's very ill. He's been very ill for 14, 15 years. He's not capable of living a life without help from other people, and he seems to have more or less stopped being a creative person as well. I haven't seen him for a long time, but I know people who have seen him recently. I get reports on him, yeah. He has been in a mental hospital, and he's not in one at the moment. One or two people have tried to do things with him, yes, in the last few years. He's long way past what one would call able to deal with any sort of situations like that now.
En 1968, les Pink Floyd tentent de suivre l'exemple des Beach Boys, dont le parolier, Brian Wilson, était également incapable de suivre les tournées. Ils cherchent un remplaçant. Ils envisagent d'engager Jeff Beck comme guitariste et vedette, mais la place revient à un vieil ami de Barrett, David Gilmour. Pour quelques représentations, les Pink Floyd forment un quintet, mais cet arrangement n'est pas viable. Dès l'été 1968, Syd Barrett appartient au passé. Aujourd'hui, Barrett vit retiré à Cambridge et a repris son ancien prénom, Roger. Jusqu'à la fin de ce qu'on a appelé les années psychédéliques, les Pink Floyd font dans la bande-son informelle. Ils collaborent à Zabriskie Point d'Antonioni et signent toute la bande-son de More de Barbet Schroeder. Quant à leurs prestations publiques, elles ressemblent de plus en plus à des spectacles.
Pink Floyd war mein zweiter Künstler. Das war 1969. Damals war ich nichts Besonderes, da waren aber auch die Pink Floyd nichts Besonderes.
The black and green scarecrow, as everyone knows, stood with a bird on his hat and swore everywhere he didn't care.
Wir haben ja zum Beispiel damals in 700-800er Clubs gespielt. Das war ja zum Beispiel in München, im Big Apple. Dieser Club gibt es heute nicht mehr. Und wir hatten, glaube ich, an einem Abend sogar 2 Konzerte gehabt.
He stood in a field where barley grows.
Mach mal ein Foto auf ihm, das ist mein Freund.
His head did no thinking, his arms didn't move, except when the wind cut up rough and mice ran around on the ground.
We played some pretty small venues, yeah. But we always had what at the time was a big PA, a big sound system, bigger than anyone else's. So I don't know. But what was bigger than anyone else's 20 years ago was pretty small, yeah.
The black and green scarecrow was sadder than me, but now he's resigned to his fate, 'cause life's not unkind, he doesn't mind.
Well, the azimuth coordinator is just a silly name for our quadraphonic sound system. And initially, our quadraphonic sound system consisted of 4 speakers and amplifiers around a room, and we needed a method for making the sound move around, move around the room. So we had to get a system built, and an EMI engineer actually built it for us.
Emily tries but misunderstands. She's often inclined to borrow somebody's dreams till tomorrow. There is no other day. Let's try it another way. You'll lose your mind and play free games for me. See Emily soon after dark, Emily cries, gazing through trees in sorrow, hardly a sound till tomorrow. There is no other day. Let's try it another way. You'll lose your mind and play free games for me. See Emily put on a gown that touches the ground. Float on a river forever and ever. Emily, there is no other.
À côté de plusieurs bandes sonores, les Pink Floyd sortent des albums provocants. A Saucer Full of Secrets, More et Umaguma. Fondation du groupe, perte du leader et plusieurs placements au hit parade, voilà le bilan de la décennie pour les Pink Floyd.
The early records, even up to Dark Side of the Moon, we would be doing a track a day. Dark Side of the Moon, it didn't take very long recording. But the ones before then, we would generally, some of the early stuff, reckon to put to bed a track in a day, mixing and everything.
Au total, Dark Side of the Moon s'est vendu à 35 millions d'exemplaires. C'est le 3e album de tous les temps. Et l'Amérique, qui jusque-là boudait le groupe, se rend sans condition. Money est le titre vedette de cet album, qui se propulse dans le top 200 et y reste 15 ans, record unique. 21 ans plus tard, Gilmour, Mason et White tentent de récidiver. Dark Side of the Moon, leur chef-d'œuvre des années 70, est enregistré avec les interprètes de 1994.
The reason for putting out a live album revolves largely around us doing Dark Side of the Moon.
We didn't decide to really. We were actually going through the tour, and we rehearsed it. I can't remember how many times, but not a lot. And then I think Dave said, "Okay, we'll try and do it tonight."
It worked very well that we did it towards the end of the American tour, so that it re-injected the tour with a sort of piece of real excitement. I mean, you tend to get more stress and tension and excitement at the beginning of the tour when you're less familiar with the pieces than later on when you start sort of really, to some extent, sort of sitting on them fairly comfortably. And I think that the whole thing of hearing the piece again after such a long time, I mean, we hadn't played it as a piece for, I suppose, since 75, so almost 20 years.
The first time we played it, it was just great. I mean, it was a really brilliant feeling standing up there and doing it again, the whole thing. In a way that's playing the individual songs from it during the regular show isn't. It's not quite the same thing. It was really quite magical the first few times we did it.
So you think you can tell.
Avec Dark Side of the Moon, les Pink Floyd avaient tout obtenu. L'album suivant tire son origine de Long Jam Sessions qui ont eu lieu en 1974 et qui seront la base de Wish You Were Here, un nouvel album conceptuel. C'est une élégie à Syd Barrett, le génie des débuts qui s'est retiré à Cambridge après quelques albums en solo.
Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall for a lead role in a cage?
Après ses succès commerciaux des années 70, le groupe connaît des moments difficiles. En 78, à la suite d'imprudence financière et d'une escroquerie d'un investisseur, Norton Warburg, le groupe enregistre une perte sèche de 2 millions de livres. Par mesure de sécurité, il enregistre l'album suivant dans le midi de la France. Question de climat et de législation fiscale. D'abord prévu sous le titre The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, avantages et inconvénients de l'autostop, il paraît en 79. C'est The Wall.
Wish you were here.
It was always going to be a film right from the very first, and in fact, at the moment we started rehearsing it and learning the music part of it and reworking that, we were trying to start doing a movie at the same moment, and we did in fact employ a team of people, scriptwriter, a director, but it became very obvious that it was impossible for us to do both things at once, so we had to drop one thing, and so we dropped the film and we did the album and stage shows, and then we came back to the film, but it was always planned to be that way.
Dans le film, Bob Geldof joue le rôle de Pink, le dictateur rock.
First experience was getting up at 6 o'clock every morning for several weeks. And the second experience was trying desperately not to make an idiot of myself. Pop stars are very bad actors in general. I think I'm an example of that. Elvis Presley, Cliff Richard, David Bowie, Sting. I think they're all very bad actors. I think Bowie is very good live in front of an audience, but I think he needs the audience.
It's about a man, a rock and roller, a burned out case, too much drugs, too many shows. in a hotel room somewhere in Los Angeles, and you're watching a television set. And we go into his memory, and we see all the bricks in his life that are built up. His father was killed during the Second World War. His mother overcompensated with too much love, so it's another brick. Went to a very repressive educational system, bad school, another brick. Bad marriage, another brick. So we see this wall build up inside his mind. And then he withdraws from the world, and then we go into his madness, and we see the excess of his madness.
The character I play becomes more and more neurotic and manic depressive, and he physically and figuratively distorts, and his body is the manifestation of his mind. It's like a Dorian Gray, you know, where he actually starts, like his mind, decomposing and becomes eaten, and he drips and he rips it off, and it reveals his subconscious in this very dangerous lunatic. And we are frightened that, certainly I was very frightened that it would be attractive.
Il semble en tout cas qu'au cours du tournage, Geldof se soit de plus en plus identifié au personnage de Pink. Dans une scène inspirée par Roy Harper, où il dévastait une chambre d'hôtel, Geldof se blesse à la main. Il se refuse à interrompre sa furie dévastatrice avant que la scène soit achevée. Pour Geldof, The Wall fut une véritable plongée.
It's a combination of real and surreal. It's about memory, which is real, and about madness, which is not real. It's we've combined different filmic techniques. For instance, 15 minutes of the film, which is a 100-minute film, is animation, which we've sprinkled throughout our film. So the fusion of all these things together is kind of unusual. We jump time and place in a very unusual way. So all together, it started out as to a certain extent, quite experimental.
Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter from so brave? We all our felt beneath the clear blue sky.
Ce tournage révèle les conflits internes au groupe. Waters, bien obligé d'accepter que Geldof joue le rôle de Pink, se voit finalement imposer 6 semaines de vacances par le metteur en scène Alan Parker pour sauver le film. Le succès et l'amitié sont deux choses.
I disagreed on of what this piece was saying, this piece of the film. But in the end now, I agree with it because what they've done is, I think, wonderful. They've taken what happens in school, not the overall system, and they've said this happens. They try and squash individualism, which is the crucial point. I don't think thought control is true. I think that's wrong because I think routine makes you think.
L'album The Wall s'est vendu dans le monde à 20 millions d'exemplaires. Et Another Brick in the Wall reste numéro 1 au hit parade.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
On discute aujourd'hui encore pour savoir si The Wall est l'un des meilleurs albums des Pink Floyd, ou bien le premier album de Roger Waters qui l'aurait beaucoup influencé. Une chose est sûre, le groupe a perdu un membre de plus, Rick White.
Roger couldn't work with me. He forced me out. And they did nothing. No, actually, they couldn't do anything either. It was a kind of blackmail situation where I had to leave. And on the other hand, if he couldn't work with me, it would have been absolutely terrible to stay in that situation anyway. And I think, as history has shown, in the end, it happened to a time. He tried to, and when he couldn't do that, he then tried to take them. I think he was the Pink Floyd, and lost that one too.
Le départ de White n'a pas eu que des aspects négatifs. Payé en droit d'auteur, il est le seul membre du groupe à qui les live shows de The Wall rapportent de l'argent. Aux autres, les frais astronomiques de la tournée coûtent une fortune. Le groupe, désormais réduit, décide d'utiliser la musique de Roger qui n'a pas servi pour The Wall. Un nouvel album apparaît, The Final Cut. Pour The Final Cut, Nick Mason est simple batteur. Roger Waters n'engage David Gilmour que comme coproducteur. Le copyright précise, en bonne logique, musique de Roger Waters interprétée par les Pink Floyd. Roger Waters estimait que les Pink Floyd, c'était lui seul. 2 ans après The Final Cut, Waters annonce que les Pink Floyd n'existent plus. Lorsque David Gilmour et Nick Mason décident de continuer sans lui, Waters contacte ses avocats et prétend que le nom n'appartient qu'à lui. Il s'ensuit toute une série d'actions juridiques et de négociations.
I harbour some bad feelings about Roger and about the procedure. Yes, I do. Wouldn't you? Sure. I mean, it's not something that I waste a lot of energy on, though. You know, I don't have any desire to see him or talk to him or any of that stuff. But I'm not going to spend all my energy trying to fight him.
There's no reason why the future might not hold some enormously successful record or show for him.
No one is going to tell me that I'm not Pink Floyd and that we can't do Pink Floyd anymore. I mean, can you believe, could you imagine it? I can't imagine it.
I don't really think about that a lot. I don't know. I hope whatever happens, it's graceful.
David Gilmour était assez têtu pour ne pas se laisser décourager par les tracasseries juridiques. C'est sous sa direction que voit le jour en 87 l'album enregistré en studio A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Mais la querelle juridique et les doutes de la maison de disques obligent Gilmour et Mason à prendre en charge personnellement les frais de studio.
cry. Can't keep my eyes from the circling sky. Tongue tied and twisted, just an earthbound misfit.
Mixtures rich. Propellers, flaps, set, strobes, on. Call for a new anchor, ready for departure. Once you know, listening out. Ready, anchor. Speed and easy, taking on the roll with the time. Just feel the power gradually into this.
On a wing of breath, my groggy head, the baby trail in the empty air. Across the clouds I see my shadow fly. Out of the calm of my watering eye, I dream I'm threatened by the morning light. Could blow the soul right through the roof of the night.
A Momentary Lapse of Reason marque le début de la guerre avec Roger Waters, lequel sort presque en même temps son album solo, Radio Chaos. Quand A Momentary Lapse of Reason grimpe au 3e rang du hit parade aux États-Unis, l'album de Waters encombre les rayons des disquaires. Le premier round de l'après Waters est remporté par les Pink Floyd.
Roger's viewpoint, I suspect, is that it's his work that we are getting all the publicity from. You know, that's his viewpoint, is that he should be receiving all these fans that are out there going to see us should be going to see him, and he feels very aggrieved that they don't understand that. He said it publicly that he wishes he'd done more publicity stuff and that people understood it better.
Après 5 mois de travail, Mason et Gilmour présentent leur plan de tournée. Personne ne doute du succès.
It's the best show in the world to go and see.
Ils retrouvent un ancien du groupe, Nick White.
I left the band after the war was made because of Roger. In the future, who knows?
You'll be there, I think.
I'll be there, definitely.
Cette tournée mondiale devait être la plus longue et la plus triomphale de toute l'histoire du groupe. En 4 ans, les Pink Floyd donnent plus de 200 concerts devant 5,5 millions de personnes.
Don't accept that what's happening is just a case of other suffering. Oh, you'll find that you're joining in the turning away. It's a sin that somehow light is changing to shadow, and cosmic shroud over all we have known. Unaware how the rags are gone, driven on by a heart of stone. We could find that we're all alone in the dream of the ground, on the wings of the night. As the daytime is stirring,
La tournée, A Momentary Lapse of Reason, est complétée par l'album live A Delicate Sound of Thunder. Avec leurs 2 derniers albums, les Pink Floyd vendent 11 millions de disques. Ils apportent une réponse à la question « Y a-t-il une vie après Roger Waters ?» En outre, A Delicate Sound of Thunder est le premier album rock joué dans le cosmos lors de la mission Soyuz 7 en novembre 88.
My motivation is the same motivation as I've had since I was a child, and that is the motivation to be successful, to make music for art's sake, if you like, with a hyphen, you know, to be able to express myself musically and philosophically, if I so choose at any point, and to make money and to meet pretty girls and everything, you know. And nothing's really changed. I mean, I'm the same person. I still have the same motivations. I'm very unbelievably lucky.
La motivation du groupe ne repose pas sur la volonté de devenir des superstars du rock. Car depuis Dark Side of the Moon, ils disparaissent derrière des nuages de neige carbonique. On les distingue à peine.
Please tell me, who are those people on this picture?
Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, never seen it in my life. No.
Documentary on the ignorance of Americans.
No idea.
No?
Yeah. No, I don't.
You don't know?
Hi.
You must know. Must be
Pink Floyd vielleicht?
Ja.
Je connais pas. C'est Pink Floyd peut-être?
Très bien.
Oui, c'est ça. Oui, c'est ça.
It seems to be. Well, that's another advantage of not being, you know, not being that close one-on-one visual thing, you know, where we're promoted by our beauty. You know, they don't mind if we don't look that good sometimes. As long as we can play the music, that's what matters. We have put a great deal of effort over the years into doing great shows, and I'm sure that lots of people who have been to see our shows 10, 20 and more years ago have told their friends, their children in some cases, about our shows, and said that this is something maybe they should see once in their lifetime at least.
Speaking for myself, I really enjoy touring. I mean, the long tour, the 87-88 tour, and this tour were both great fun. I mean, I think that's perhaps the best part of the whole thing, is to go on and be able to show off to a whole bunch of people. It's a great way of life.
For me, really, the most exciting thing about the whole music is actually being on stage. And it was very enjoyable.
110 concerts dans 77 villes en 9 mois, et pour terminer en beauté, 14 concerts à guichet fermé au Earl's Court de Londres.
We figured that some people want to have a record of this tour. We certainly thought we were playing better, and doing Dark Side of the Moon, we thought all these things together made it worthwhile.
I think there is a case to be made for producing a sort of complete record of the show. We don't do these shows very often. This had one or two special elements to it. And also there does seem to be a demand for this record.
Pour la première fois depuis 30 ans, on trouve dans Pulse un enregistrement live intégral de Dark Side of the Moon qui détient le record absolu dans les charts.
We played it as we remembered it, and then we listened to the record again and sort of made notes. And James Guthrie, who was engineering, was actually particularly good at being able to spot what the differences were. I mean, I think there's a great case to be made for sort of updating it in certain areas, and I think it probably has been in some small ways. But as I say, I think the piece works best when you take the feel of it from the record and you don't try and sort of do almost like a cover version by another band with a different style to it.
When I first got the call to do this, and I was told that the band wanted to do it to record a live Dark Side of the Moon, a live version of Dark Side of the Moon, I just thought to myself, this is a tough act to follow, because there's so many people who are intimate with every detail of that record and are quite attached to those details, myself included. And it was going to be difficult to follow on from that. But, so we had a lot of meetings about how to approach it. They were already touring it, of course. They'd been doing it all across America. And we all got together and sat down and played the album, played the original album, first of all, played some show tapes just so we could hear what was going on at that particular point. And then referred back to the original album, not really to try to copy it exactly, because obviously you want things to move on, but to just remind ourselves of the overall feel of it, because it has a very specific atmosphere and feel.
James Guthrie sera un pilier des Floyd au cours de ces dernières années. Sa carrière auprès du groupe commence avec The Wall. C'est lui qui enregistre les solos avec Geldof et qui est responsable du son pendant la tournée.
On this album, it's work that I have at home, the same type of monitor speakers that we use at the studio. And a local taxi firm is making a very handsome profit this year because there are several taxis a day whizzing up from the studio to my house. And I listen carefully to what's going on, make notes and call James back. And he then works on it again, and then it comes back up to me again, and when it's right, it's right.
It's a big challenge, very different from doing a studio album. That's what made this so interesting, really. It's, we recorded 20 shows for this, 10 shows in Europe, which were all outdoor venues, and 10 shows at Earl's Court, indoors in London. And so there was a lot to choose from that, which was a good sort of starting point. The technology has moved on a lot in terms of with the arrival of digital, but and it has a lot to offer, but it also has a long way to go, in my opinion. So I'm still, when I have the choice, I'm still working in the analog domain, and particularly using old valve equipment and things like that. I just prefer the sound of the old records.
It's obviously expensive and time-consuming to get really good sound. Obviously, you have to record a lot of shows in order that you get the great performances. And then you have to spend a lot of time in the studio making sure that it sounds nice.
At the mixing stage, I use something called Q-Sound, which is a three-dimensional mixing environment, if you like, from a two-speaker source. So, which means that the public, when they buy the CD is encoded with all of that information, so they don't need to buy any additional equipment.
There are some moments where you can sort of sit and look at your stereo system in front of you, and you've got the two speakers out here like this. And that is the normal limit of width of the sound that you can hear. And there are things that are coming from way out here. You can just shut your eyes and go, how on earth did they get out there?
Après 7 ans d'éclipse, les Pink Floyd ont enregistré un album en studio, fait une tournée mondiale et un album live. Si le collectionneur d'art Gilmour, le coureur automobile Mason et le capitaine des Eagles qui est Rick White se laissent une seconde fois le même répit, on se retrouvera en l'an 2002.
Maybe many of the younger people would go because they've been told it's an amazing experience, just visually, even if they don't like the music. And then hopefully what happens, they hear the music and say, oh, we like this, and come again. But I think the word is that the Pink Floyd do put on maybe, one of the most spectacular live shows.
Seems sort of fairly obvious that if you write and perform good songs that are going to mean something to some people and are going to push their emotions around a little bit, and you do your absolute best not to cut corners with the show you put on in terms of the people that play with you, the sound, the lighting. That seems odd that more people don't use those same priorities. I think there could be many more people that could have lasted just as well as us if they'd put their minds to it.
I think this is something that's been proven over 30-odd years, that absolutely, that when Sid left, we lost our songwriter, our frontman, you know, the guy who actually was Pink Floyd, and we carried on as Pink Floyd. The same happened with Roger. Yes, absolutely. It's a very curious thing, and it's attributable to all sorts of reasons, but it just, and in some ways, I think it's irritating for people that we don't quite fit into the mould of a proper band. A proper band is about characters, and that there's rather less of the characters in this band.
There was a ragged man that followed in our footsteps, running before time took our dreams away, leaving the myriad small creatures trying to tie us to the ground, to a life consumed by slow decay. The grass was green, the light was bright, with friends around. The nights of wonder, looking beyond the embers of bridges glowing behind us, to a glimpse of how green it was on the other side. Steps taken forwards, but sleepwalking back again, dragged by the force of some inner tide. At a higher altitude, with flag unfurled, we reach the dizzy heights of that dreamed of world. Forever, my desire and ambition. There's a hunger still unsatisfied. Our weary eyes still stray to the horizon. Go down this road we've been so many times. The grass was green.
How about you?
How about you?
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
We all had a lovely time.